Welcome back to Newslink. Let's bring you this now. Construction was once a major contributor to GDP and, importantly, employment. But the industry is falling apart brick by brick. The Construction Management Forum says this is because of government's disorganization. But there's also no single body to represent clients and companies. So let's discuss the impact of this with the Foundation's CEO, Ronnie Siphika. Joins me now, of course, to take this discussion forward. Ronnie, thank you so much for your time and good morning to you. I think let's dissect this problem. And you say it's a deep-rooted problem that is well known amongst, construction association, industry leaders, but there seems to still be more of a reluctance or an inability to resolve this problem. But what is at the root of this leadership and profitability crisis that you diagnose and see within the property and infrastructure and construction industry?
Thank you, Tumelo. Good morning to you and your viewers. Look, the construction industry in South Africa has, like any other construction sector around the world, has always had a fragmentation problem. So what do I mean by that? Fragmentation in the sense that there are too many structures and there are too many decision-making bodies that affect the sector as a whole. And as a result, that sort of creates inaction or ability to sort of everyone in the same picture and sort of lead a way forward for the sector. So in South Africa right now, as things are, there are way too many professional bodies, employer organizations, lobby organizations. And as a result of that, it's very hard to sort of have one coordinated action. The Department of Public Works is supposed to be leading that conversation. They're supposed to be engaging with the sector, both clients, contractors, and everyone within the value chain. So as things are, it seems that the sector, where it's at and where it's supposed to be at, can't sort of move in one voice, can't move in one direction. And there is a need for that kind of collaboration between clients and also between the contractors or the other side, the supply side of the...
Yeah. So where is the Public Works and Infrastructure Department in all of this, Ronnie? I mean, they have a clear mandate to offer competency in this industry, but it seems they're nowhere, at least, to be found, just in ensuring that the centre holds and there is competency within industry.
Look, the mandate of the Department of Public Works is to provide leadership and to both the property sector and the construction sector. But the definition of construction, infrastructure, and property seems to sort of confuse the government at this point. But there has been at least efforts from what has been happening in the past 2 years, where in Public Works they've added even the infrastructure component to reflect the fact that they are now starting to take responsibility for coordinating infrastructure development from local government to national and also with private sector as well. I think Dr. Hosienzo Ramokopa, before he became electricity minister, he was leading Infrastructure South Africa, and the purpose of that organization was really to ensure that the infrastructure component of infrastructure development component is also taken into consideration. But where the key problem lies, is that there are too many stakeholders in the sector, and Public Works through the CIDB needs to play a meaningful role in bringing literally everyone together and coordinating actions of everyone towards some form of industry master plan that's going to coordinate action. Other sectors have worked very well in terms of producing these sorts of industry master plan, but the construction sector right now seems to be stuck in a cycle of indecision, in a cycle of policies that never even get to a chance to even go to parliament because of the disagreements between vested interest in large business, small business, civil contractors, building contractors. So even property developers as well have sort of organized themselves in one corner. So there is a requirement for the sector at this particular point to deal with things like the construction mafia. You can't deal with it in pockets in small areas and so forth. You need the industry to take one stance, and there should be a stance that's led from one area, and there must be agreement, broad consensus around the sector that this is how we are going to move from here to here. So at this point, we are not seeing that there's a lot of actions and attempts by various organizations. I would like to mention CASA. I think Construction Alliance South Africa has attempted to bring everyone in the same picture, but the clients are not there. So if the clients are not there, the people who actually spend the money are not helping you, or you are not working with them, devising ways to sort the problem or to solve the problem of the so construction mafia. You are actually working towards something that might not even end in the foreseeable future, because the actual people who spend the money and the people who plan for that infrastructure are not involved in your efforts in trying to curb that sort of problem.
I want to touch on the construction mafia that you've mentioned right now and ask of what the significant effect they have on the construction industry. I mean, even the electricity minister, whom you've also made mention of, Hossein Suramokgopa, mentioned before that there seems to be evidence that leads to believe that there are links with the construction mafia out in KwaZulu-Natal having infiltrated the procurement division out at Eskom. So we're talking of quite significant impact here that they have. But in terms of the construction industry, what have you found that effect to look like?
Look, in as far as the construction mafia is concerned, there are two ways of looking at it. There are legitimate interests, first of all, of some communities and also local businesses and small businesses that actually do want to contribute. But at the same time, there are also those business forums have sort of been infiltrated by criminal elements. And criminal elements need to be dealt with by the law, and every possible way should be applied in ensuring that the criminal element within these business forums is dealt with. But one of the things that sometimes is hardly mentioned around this conversation, is that the sector sort of requires some form of working together. This is what I'm going back to, with clients working together with contractors and professional associations to have a standardized way of community engagement. Because when you start a project, one of the most important things you do is you have to do some stakeholder identification. You need to identify who are the beneficiaries of the infrastructure, who's supposed to benefit. The wide profile of that particular area should always be clear, because that information lies with all municipalities. So when you start a project in a community and you don't engage the right people, the rightful people who are supposed to be benefiting from that project, and also planning your procurement and delivery in accordance with the needs of those communities, you are going to have problems. You are giving an opportunity for whoever says is a business forum to come in and take the state with community. So my view at this point, and the view perhaps that needs to be considered, is that clients need to better plan their project in order to incorporate communities and also deliver projects much more faster. Because now, if you have planned a project, Dumelo, in 2017, we initiated a project in 2017, and you only awarded in 2022. The dynamics will have changed, and also you as a client might not even get the same kinds of benefits you're hoping of getting, or even the impact that you hope that the project would have in that particular community. So it is important that in the delivery management of large infrastructure projects, this kind of stakeholder management or stakeholder identification is sort of incorporated, and incorporated early, and extensive engagement is also had with the communities that are supposed to be beneficiaries of that infrastructure.